the return on time invested. What is my return on time invested? If we can find an answer to this question, then we have answered one of the queries that will lead us to this decision, whether we can move it from a passion to a profession to a career. Now, the returns, how do we generate returns out of a sound capsule that we have developed, we have created, and we have put it out on the net for everybody to listen to? Now, one of the main important things before we get into returns and value is that the first thing is the podcast, what you create, understand that content is king. You should have quality content in your podcast. There should be consistent delivery of your podcast. I underline the word consistent for you because the reason is you must deliver when you have promised. If it's a weekly podcast, you must deliver it on that day. If it's a fortnightly podcast, deliver it on that day. If it's a monthly podcast, make sure that you have a podcast out every single month, more specifically on a particular date. That will show discipline. That will help you organize what is called as a tribe. Tribe is a group of people who come and listen to your podcast. You don't want them to come and listen to you one time. You want them to keep coming back again and again and again to listen to those podcasts. And once you have a sizable tribe, that's when your monetization journey starts. Now, how can I monetize? Well, I've recorded a podcast. I put it on one of the distribution platforms, and it's available for everybody to listen. I've got a group of people who have already listening to this. Now, how do I monetize this? Now, the first option what you have as a podcaster, because the career option you have is the first career option, the moment you have started producing quality content, been consistent in delivery, you have become a podcaster. You have taken the first step in your journey of monetizing. As a podcaster, you're monetizing revenue streams. One is the ads that can be placed in your podcast. Now, who places the ad? You cannot place the ad. Somebody should find your podcast worthy enough to place an ad. Now, how do you become worthy enough? It's all by the size of the tribe that you have, size of the followers you have. That will make advertisers approach you either directly or through the platform or what we call as aggregators. You'll be approached through them. Now, if your following is sizable, they place directly ads on your podcast and you encash them directly. Now, if your following is not so great, but then you are delivering quality content and consistent in delivery, then you'll be approached by aggregators who consolidate podcasts and then deliver it to the advertisers. Now, if I have to give you a small indication of what is the kind of revenue one can expect, it is calculated as CPM, cost per mil. That is cost per 1,000 listens. You can expect to get something like about $18 if it's a direct approach, or if it's through an aggregator, the aggregator, of course, will take his cut before he gives you your portion of that $18. If out of the 1,000 you had 50 listeners, you'll get that 50 listeners cut from that $18. So this is one stream, a revenue stream, which you can establish for your podcast. The second revenue stream is affiliate marketing. In your content, in your delivery of your content, during the content itself, you can place products in your content. You can also place links, CTAs, in your podcast, asking people to go click on a link. You must have seen this. This has become very popular in the YouTube arena, where you find the presenter always telling you, like, if you're interested in this product, go to the link and click on it and use this code, you'll get 20% discount. What exactly happens there is that when a listener uses the code on that link, you get a monetary token put in your box. And then later on, you'll be able to encash this token with your advertiser. So this is the first stream. There is value and there is a way to add value to your roti. Now, once this is established, you have kind of, going along the way, but you find that, if you notice, the most important thing here is the tribe size. If you're not able to establish a tribe, can I make money? Yes, you can. Believe me, when you are doing your podcast regularly, when you're consistent with your delivery and you're creating and delivering content, there is something which is happening. You are developing expertise in podcast creation. Maybe your podcast is not making money, but you can monetize this expertise what you have developed. The next step in your career could be a podcast creator, a podcast facilitator. You could create podcasts for others. And believe me, it's a gig which is has great value. Normally a good podcast, when you create, you can charge up to $1,000 and can even go up to, like the president said, it can go up to even $30,000 for an episode, which you can create. So you can create podcasts as a creator. In fact, I normally call this particular activity as PaaS, podcast as a service. You can create podcasts, you can be a facilitator for podcasts and charge your clients for it. Believe me, that's a very good revenue stream. Today, companies want that. If you develop your expertise, that expertise is not going to go waste. You'll be able to create content and deliver content. In fact, one more aspect which is kind of catching up is that if you have a good content that you have created, you can even get your content onto platforms where people have to subscribe to listen to you. Platforms like Patreon are becoming popular, where you can have multi-layer subscription. Depending upon the subscription, the listener will get access to your content at different levels. Maybe early listening to your content or your podcast, or looking at the archives for your podcast. You can place all your archives behind a paywall. So if people want to go back and refer to a previous episode, there is a paywall through which they have to make some monetary contributions to your box. So these are ways in which you can generate revenue. If you really notice, there is roti, there is enhancement of roti is also possible. There is the return on time invested, and you can enhance it also along your journey. And once you have done this, in fact, the third level to which you can travel is to become a consultant. Now, one very important thing, people who have rotis, they will tell you, when does the roti taste best? When it is dipped in a gravy, isn't it? That's the time when the roti or bread, for people who are not familiar, it's bread. When bread is dipped in a gravy, the taste is enhanced. Value of your podcasting can get enhanced when you dip this roti into an appropriate gravy. Now, if you are going to, what is this gravy? The gravy is your area of expertise. Where is your expertise? Apart from podcasting, you have a core expertise. Dip the podcasting into your core expertise and deliver it. The value you'll get, the returns are exponentially high than a plain podcast. I can give you a small example. I will give you my own example. In fact, way back, I'm not sure because I'm not able to see the timer. So somebody has to give me an indication of where I am on the time. Alifia, if you could give me an indication on the time, that will be good. my own story, like a year back, in fact, we were a group of people who were doing improv. We were, with the Corona lockdowns, we moved our improv jamming sessions to the Zoom platform. And then one of our improv group core members, a 90s kid by the name Harikrishnan Warrior, and his then fiance and currently his wife, Roma, both of them, they pushed us, they said, we should do podcasting. And believe it, none of us knew what is this podcasting all about. Hari took the pains to teach us what is podcasting, what type of mic to buy, what type of software to use, how to edit a podcast, how to convert that into a capsule. And then we started releasing, and in fact, where to place these capsules, sound capsules, and how to take it across to others. We in fact had another millennial kid by the name of Naima Hussain, who's currently at the University of Coventry in London. She lives in London now. She took the task of taking this across to everybody. What is important is that not only you create content and put it on the right platform, you must market your content, market your podcast. And that is what will bring you the tribe, generate the tribe for you. Now, over a period of time, we have done about 61 episodes so far under the name Unscripted with DIT. And then over this period, each one of us developed expertise on how to make a podcast, how to place the podcast, and how to market the podcast. Now, I took this bread and dipped it in my gravy. I'm a strategy consultant. So I took it to my clients and said, you can do this, because identified their pain points. Give them ideas on how they can use this as a tool to communicate with their employees, communicate with their channel partners. Today, I run for my clients. I'm a curator for a podcast which is called E3 Talks. It started off as a Zoom webinar concept, and now it has moved to the podcast platform. I also do I'm contributing to an industry podcast called the Print Pack. I also do another podcast which is for best practices for a company, for taking best practices to their channel partners around the globe. And these are companies, when they do podcasts, they don't put it public. They are all private podcasts. They are limited only to their employees. And there are many platforms which allow you to do this. You'll be able to, in fact, my clients use Storyboard to take their podcast to their employees and to their channel partners. And these type of products earn you more revenue than a regular podcast or an ad in a podcast. This will multiply your returns, because what is important here is the gravy, where you're dipping this. The value of your service is determined by the place where you're dipping the roti. If you dip it in dal, yeah, you'll get some value. If you dip it in dal makhani, the value gets increased. If you dip it in paneer makhani, it's enhanced a bit. If you dip it in butter chicken masala, then you get ultimate value. So this will help you to expand your returns. Overall, one more thing, whenever you want to make this decision, whether I can move from passion to profession to career, the first one we saw, roti, the value is there, value enhancement is there. There is scalability, because you can always scale it up. And then the most important thing is sustainability. Is it something which will continue tomorrow also? Or is it a fad of today? If you look at the worldwide happenings around the globe, you'll find that this is something which is going to be there for long. It is going to be. Corporates are embracing this. You'll soon find podcast shows, podcast events. In fact, already I was told that in a SaaS event, there were podcasts which were being listened to. There was a simultaneous podcast event going on. So corporates, even management people are all embracing this technology. So if you are a creator of sound capsules as a podcast, the path is clear. There is value, there is value enhancement, there is scalability, there is sustainability. Both podcasts today are audio. We're talking about audio. In fact, video also can come in. Video also. Video adds value to what you're creating. So this is the path which is evolving. And we're all lucky that we are here early. Now, one word of caution, like, always when we talk about monetization, everybody mentions about Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan and that fantastic deal he did with Spotify. May last year, he signed up a deal with Spotify to make his content exclusive for Spotify. You know how much he's getting paid for that? $100 million. That's a lot of money. But then, caution, okay? It's the same way, like if I tell you Warren Buffett's net worth is 103 billion, so get into stock marketing, it's the same. So take your steps carefully. And when you, after listening to this podcast, don't go back to your office tomorrow, give your boss a kick and say, I'm kicking my job, I'm going to become a podcaster. No, at this point of time, evaluate it properly. The purpose of this session is for you to be aware of the potential that is there in this field. Be aware of the need to embrace this technology and develop expertise in this technology. So that tomorrow, as you grow in your profession, you will find areas, because if you are in let's say, for example, if you're in advertising or if you're in drama, for example, where do I find, only you as a person in the drama field know where it can be, how to connect the dot. Podcasting is a dot. Take this dot and connect it with whatever you're good at. And you'll find that you have created a new product which has great value and which is monetizable at a much, much higher plane than just simple advertising from podcasts. This is my message for you.
I'm sure people may have some questions. So
if I could, let me get into the question mode and let me see. Okay, is there anybody? I had a question which said, like, no, podcasts are only audio or also video. Podcasts are, of course, an audio medium, but you can combine it with video. As a product, when you're delivering it, you combine it together as a video capsule. Today, content by, man cannot live by bread alone. Yes. So it's all up to you what you combine, how you make your product unique to present it to your clients.
Does anyone have specific questions? Because Karthikeyan is an expert in podcasting. He's done it for the longest amount of time. And it'll be a great opportunity to, spell out your mind.
Yeah. Okay. What is a capsule? A capsule is a word. Capsule is a capsule. That's it. It is, you record your content. And then let's say, for example, for 5 minutes, you have recorded it and you put an intro to it. You put an outro to it. So that becomes your capsule that you are uploading on the platforms,
Which is the best platform to release our podcast is the next question.
I mean, there are n number of platforms. If you are a beginner, I would say let's take the first step with something where everybody is comfortable with. Start with anchor.fm. That will make things easier for you in your creation, in your distribution of the content. So I would recommend that as the first step for anybody to start off. Before you can, get into upgrade yourself into doing offline creation of content.
Okay, lovely. Anyone else have any questions? Please type in the chat, or then we can move to the next section as well.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I was wondering, is it possible that to interview people for your podcast and then after a while you take like a fee? Is that considered the service?
I mean, you interview people for your podcast, isn't it?
Not really, but in the future I would like to do that, and with that, like, it gives them like an ability to advertise who they are or like whatever they would like to pursue?
Yeah, so that will be the service you're providing. Like I said, podcast as a service, that's a service you're providing. You're somebody who invite people to come on your platform, on your podcast, and you interview them, and they can present themselves to your audience, to your tribe.
Okay.
And the fee is, you can charge them for that.
I find it very challenging now after I did my first podcast for people to go on like anchor.fm and find whatever it is, either their Apple or Spotify. Especially for the older crowd, it's really hard for them to do so. So what did I do? I went and I put it in a video and I uploaded it in YouTube.
Yeah, okay. I will give you a very simple way to do it. Everybody is now familiar with Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay. Do your interviews on Zoom. Today, Zoom allows you to strip audio content track-wise. For every person, there is a separate track. You can get that track-wise and then use one of the editing softwares. Like we use Reaper to edit it, because there will be a lot of things which you may want to cut out of the interview.
Reaper?
Reaper, R-E-A-P-E-R, Reaper. It's a free software.
Okay.
Actually, it is not so free. It is actually, you have to buy it after some time. But then the loophole is that it allows you to evaluate it forever. So it'll ask you whether you want to buy it. You can say still evaluating, and you can keep using it.
Okay. So you named a couple of places to monetize. Would you have a list to share with us just for us to refer to?
No, the couple of places in the sense.
Because you said like Patreon, you said be a consultant, be a service, capsule. I'm not sure, what does capsule mean?
A capsule. Okay, maybe people are getting confused with the word capsule. A module, whatever you have created is a module. You made an interview with somebody. You have the audio content. That's a capsule. That's like an episode. One episode. What you have created.
Like clips.
Yeah. Your total program, what you have created.
Or past episodes, you mean?
No, one episode. One episode is a block. Let's say, for example, you were interviewing one person. So you started off with an introduction. That's the intro. Then you had the actual interview. And then once the interview was over, you said, thank you very much. And, see you again next week or whatever. So that was your outro. So this whole thing becomes a package. This is the one which you are going to upload as one block.
Okay.
So this is your product.
Hey, Toastmaster Nora, we have done a separate session on how to use Anchor FM, create intros and outros. I will share those video, and I will also share the list of softwares which we have compiled the list. Please join the WhatsApp guest group, right? Podcaster guest group.
I am in the guest group, and I just recently became a member. I know there's a lot of things that in this club has become repetitive because people are experienced, people are new, and and I know that. And but like, is it possible to have like a website and you can just like put in all these information?
Yes. Sure.
There is a website, Noora. So there's a Linktree link that we will share again in the chat, and follow that. All the social media pages are on it, including the website.
Okay. So, all right. Thank you.
The education collateral is all collected on our website for the first time podcasters, especially for our members.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's great.
Excellent.
If there are no questions.
Ambilo, is there a question, or we have your hand raised? Because we are ready to go to the next section. Ambilo? Sometimes it's colorful to have
I will leave my details. It's in the background. You can see, it's here. So if you want to connect with me, you could always connect with me on this. And
how did you like that? We got a few ideas and a few tips at least. Raise hands. Hello. Okay, brilliant, excellent. Thanks, Wabi, Ambilo. A few people have raised hands, and some of them have. I see Umbilo. Some of them sharing on the Oh, lovely, lovely. Thank you, Karthikeyan. It's always so much value to hear from you. And oh my God, you have like a truckload of knowledge, and it's impossible to take it away from you in 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's just not enough. We need a full day session. Maybe we all need a 1 week session to even come close to something that we could be averagely good. So
thanks for having me.
Keep going in our club, and we love it. So he's always available, and he's always there for all our education sessions, and we learn so much all the time. Thank you very much, Karthikeyan. We loved it.
Thank you, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed it.
So with that, we're going to come with our next section, which is content presentation. Most of our content is presented in some sort of a digital format, either a podcast or a vlog or a blog or some sort of a digital level of communication. So we're going to have our first speaker, Noora, who's going to have her content shared now. There's something unique about the way we evaluate our content presenters. We have you become the evaluators, all of us become the evaluators. So there will be a person who will sort of randomly ask anyone, what did you feel about the music, or what did you feel about the sound, or and then we have a few technical geeks who are hiding in the audience as well, who will give technical ideas about how that could have done better or things like that. But all of us become evaluators, and all of us become the panel evaluator on this one. So I would invite someone who would be the content guide. Does anyone want to volunteer? Any of our members want to volunteer to become the content guide for the evaluator to run the evaluation role? DTM Lakshmi, you want to do it? Or GP?
Sure.
Okay, brilliant. Ashwin, do you have a question?
Yeah, if Ashwin.
No, he just loves Karthikeyan, so some people just love him and they continue to express their love. So
yeah, taking screenshots, yes.
So take it over. Yeah. So Noora, please go ahead and share your content, and then Jay Prakash will be your content evaluator guide.
Okay, so
You can share.
I am here, and so I go to my anchor.
Yes. So you can share sound at least, or share content screen with the sound.
Okay. So I could do, let's see, what can I do here? Should I give you the YouTube? I think YouTube might be better. Let's see where it is.
So while Noora is working on it, let me give a brief about how this works. We all see ourselves as gardeners. What does a gardener do? He goes and ensures, takes care of the plants, right? And adds nutrients to it, gives some positive words. And also sometimes some of the areas may need trimming. So all of us are gardeners, and Noora's content is the plant which is going to come up. So let's observe keenly on all the aspects of it and share our perspectives, each one of our perspective, and how we perceive the content matters. That would definitely help the podcasters to fine tune it accordingly. So we'll be talking about all the aspects of it, starting from the technology aspects to the content aspects and others. And a word to Noora, I mean, it's all our subjective feedback and what we see and what we believe. And I'm sure she will take it with the
Yes, definitely. I'm already. I had to look to this, so I'm like, I have some comments in my mind. Then I was like, it's okay. I'll leave this time for you guys. Okay, one time. Sorry. One second. Now, what do I do? Do I share the screen or like how?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Share the screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Share screen with sound. Sound is important.
Yeah. Click on the share sound. No.
Screen. Okay, is it now with the sound, or does not show?
Yeah, click on play. That will let us know. Yes.
Hello,
we are
welcome. Episode Feminism Reinterpreted. When the word feminism is mentioned, a lot of mixed emotions stir up depending on who hears them. Some feel normal and casual about the concept, like a common sense of an understanding. Others get very uncomfortable and become defensive towards the concept as it carries a heavy negative connotation associated with it. And when I say some, it mostly includes a big divide of two between men. On the other hand, most women would feel indifference when the word feminism is mentioned without a conscious desire to pursue it or being labeled as a feminist. Nevertheless, the question is, why does it bother some men? And why do most women start to pursue it and start labeling themselves as feminists to join the movement? Background. To most women, they accidentally fell into it within an incident that shook them to reappraise their positional point of view. Aggressive invasion of boundaries transgress in either forms of direct aggression or passive aggressive moves, such as gender role designations, exclusion, belittlements, undercutting recognition of achievements, or non-rewarding work. If you look closer, the actions from assault to marginalizations are exploitive in nature. Translate that: you give me more and I will give you less than you deserve, based on gender biased narratives. Hinge vulnerable fears that if you could be treated on an equal level, you could be more than me. Moments of inequalities pushes women to gather up and defend their position by raising up against such prejudices. Safe without being saved. Feminism is a movement of protection to women's right of being treated with a full claim to their rights without being questioned, to guilty first, then proven innocent, while the other party walks away with little to less, if no real-time accountability and lenient reasoning to accommodate their actions. So what could be worse than being exploited? The answer could be worse. Try irrelevance. This happens the moment when a woman that stands up to speak up is disbelieved by others in systems that are designed not to take it into relevance. In other words, it's like being literally lit on fire, also known as gaslighting, questioning the victim's reality that they already survived and been traumatized much further by taking away their truth to non-existentialism. The most unjust payback to judiciousness that we must prevent from happening by not normalizing it in our societies. Most of these actions are based on patriarchal, misshaped biases socialized within individuals since growing up with an early age to the household's perceptions of gender roles with associated terms and conditions to the outplay of real-life game plans. The equal right of protection is the real essence of feminism, not this inflected idea that they are out there to dominate or overthrow the masculine gender. It's more about the safe right of active participations in realms without being discriminated against or saved. Reinterpretation. Feminism reinterpreted means the protection of women's rights, the responsibility to the fact that we are all responsible to a fair environment of inclusion is permissible. Respect our gender differences and perform equity to accommodate each gender prepositions and establish lenient adjustments in accordance to our modern day needs without inadequacy. Each individual, irrespective of their gender, should be able to take up worth based on their level of competence, performance, and outcome of achievements other than an inadequate visual representation of perception. We change the moment we level up in educating the public and improving the general environment to be more accommodative and hold a higher form of accountability by all of us, including men to men, instead of needing women to be saved, labeling other women as feminists. How about we start calling the offending party as sexist and leaving the rest of us as normal for a change?
So yeah,
Fantastic. Thank you, Toastmaster Nora, for that presentation. We would like to congratulate you for making your debut, and that too on a topic, feminism reinterpreted, right? As there is an African proverb, unless the line starts speaking, all the history is going to glorify only the hunter, right? And it's important that we hear a lot of women speak about what they feel and what they want to share with the world. And another contradiction is that even all the lyrics, especially in India cinemas, for women are written by men, right? So it's important that a lot of original content come. So with that being said, let's go and hear people's feedback. Toastmaster Aparna, let me hear your views on how the beginning of the podcast has been, and also about the topic.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster. Toastmaster Nora, I want to start by telling you that feminism is the second F word. That is a taboo word that most women shrink away from and most men use in the wrong context. So congratulations on talking about a subject which should be spoken about very much, but most people have extremes. Their views are extreme. Either they just hate it or they just love it. You are bringing the balance in that and putting me in the center by talking about it in a way that I understood very clearly. And I am not an anti-feminist. I am not a feminist. I'm just a normal woman who wants to be treated equally by everybody. And I want to render the same to them as well. So I really enjoyed this topic. I loved your selection. I love the way you spoke about it eloquently, and it really touched me. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aparna. Let's move on to Toastmaster Vijay Kannan. Please share us your views on the content being presented, right? Was it coherent, and what are your views and perspectives on it, on the topic, whether it has whether it was complete in terms of being having the beginning, the body of it, and the ending, and the structure of it.
Yeah, good evening, Toastmasters. And first, I would congratulate Ms. Nora for a wonderful podcast. Too raw and infant for this stage. Comment about this session, because I don't know whether I'm eligible to evaluate or give her the suggestions, but the transition was really good. The content was also like, it was flowing, like we could easily understand what she was trying to communicate. Thank you, TMJ Prakash.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Vijay. I agree with you on that point. So we have, apart from me, I have only one man who has this video on. So Aniket, let me go ahead and ask him. So what are your views on this topic? As a man, how do you see it? And please share your perspectives.
So feminism is a topic that has been a taboo in our country and has been very controversial too. A lot of girls and a lot of boys. So I refrain from speaking on such topics because it's very critical and it's very something which can trigger emotions of a lot of people. So I refrain from speaking on it. Being a marketer, in terms of just one input that I can give, there are a lot of things that can be improved. But Nora, as it was mentioned that you have just started out, so it's a good start. Just one input, not being very technical with the things that you can improve on. The background music was a bit loud for me to hear it from this, at least from these earphones. So if you can lower down a bit the background music, it would be much more easier for me to listen and then absorb all the content that is going on. So just small input, and I guess it's good that you have just started, and I'm looking forward to hear more from you. I've just saved your Instagram ID on my Instagram, and then probably I'll go and check out that soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Super. Hey, thank you, Aniket, for sharing your views. So anyone else wants to share their view? I'm sure, I like this, from the topic, right? and I'm sure all of us have a view about it. Please go ahead and share. Anyone wants to share your views on this?
JP, for a heads up for you, these guys with the Dubai Improv Tribe posters, these are the professional podcasters along with Karthikeyan's team. So we can always pull them on the screen if you like. But Ashish,
sure.
Just a heads up.
Okay, sure. Hey, Ashish, please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not able to put my video on. So in a true podcast thing. So I liked Nora's podcast, and congratulations. I think getting the first one in is always the difficult. So a big step. Congratulations. For me, I think one, I really agree with Aniket. For me, actually, not even the music. So I don't know whether it was with my bandwidth or I couldn't even clearly hear the words of what you're speaking. In fact, I was wondering whether you have shared the sound or you're playing it directly. So there was some issue with maybe the quality of recording or I'm not sure what. The clarity was definitely lacking. I had to struggle to listen to your words clearly. That is one. And second, on the content part, I mean, while obviously feminism is a topic which is a lot of people would like to it, but I mean, why I listen to podcasts is more than the topic, to be honest, is the person. So what is Nora in this? I mean, why I can go and listen to many podcasts on feminism, a lot of content, but what is Nora in this? So somewhere I got a feeling that it was more like a general talk about feminism rather than I want to see more of Nora there. So that is why I would come and listen to the podcast. There maybe try and bring a little bit of more of your personality and individuality into it. What I would. Thanks, Nora.
Thank you, Ashish, for sharing your feedback. We appreciate it. Toastmaster RD, please go ahead.
Thank you, Jaiprakash. I'm not going to switch on my video. Not that I'm not able to switch on my video. I'm not going to switch on my video. But Nora, well done. Congrats for having broken the ice and set foot on your journey of your first podcast, which is a video cast. Well done. Because you not only utilized audio, you also combined video. And as we know, video captures attention much more than audio, right? So excellent, well done. Now, what I wanted to share with you was not about the content, not that per se I have anything for or against feminism, which is reinterpreted or not, but something that I did when I was watching your YouTube going on screen. Then I had to get up from my screen and I walk away to do something else, and I was hearing your soundtrack in the background. And one thing that struck me after I listened to it for a while was, after a while, it becomes predictive and repetitive. The ups and downs, the wavelengths, the differences, the variations. After a while of not looking at the screen, if you're just listening to the soundtrack, it sounded to me as it was predictive and not much of difference between the highs and lows. I think that's something you can definitely work on because you have a good voice. It's just that this being the first time, you probably started talking as you normally would. But my suggestion is, imagine if you are telling whatever you're telling to someone near and dear to you and they were not agreeing with you. Would you be so even-toned in your delivery? You would get animated about it, right? You would say, what? But how can you? Let me tell you, this is what it is. If this is what it is. So that kind of life you'll be able to bring into your delivery if you try to think of it as you having this really animated and engaging conversation with someone you trust. That's my takeaway for you today. But well done, really well done for stepping off with your first podcast.
Sure. Hey, thank you, RD, for that insightful feedback on all the areas. Hey, Alifia, you need to let me know when I have to start summarizing. Maybe I'll go ahead and take one more feedback. Elizabeth Sasso, would you like to share your views on this topic and other aspects?
Sorry about that, but I went off and I came back on again, so I missed some parts.
Okay.
But from what I heard, so I think that if this is her icebreaker, then she really did great. with her submissions in the podcast. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So guest Sumita Kotkar, please share your views on the, especially now I'm looking at from the content perspective, right? Feminism reinterpreted, and how does it resonate with you, and what are the upcoming episodes or topic you would like to see from this podcast series?
Thank you so much. I'm very new to this, and truthfully speaking, I was lost in the sing-song, sweet, utterly soothing voice. So it took an effort on my part to focus my attention on the content, and I hope whatever I say is taken very positively. I mean the best for the speaker. It was beautifully spoken, and I felt like actually relaxing. I wish I had a chair to relax and and relax and actually doze off for a while. So that was that soothing voice. So I'm so sorry I got lost in that, and the content as such, I could not focus too much on it. I would like to hear it once again to tell you more on the content.
Yeah, okay, no worries. No, I can completely understand. Yeah.
Beautifully spoken. Actually beautifully spoken. I loved it.
Thank you, Toastmasters Smita, for that feedback. And I indeed agree with you. That was beautifully spoken and nice voice. So let's start. Let me take the last volunteer who would like to share their perspectives.
Toastmaster Aparna has been raising her hand.
Aparna, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Toastmaster Nora, I just want to ask you, your whole podcast is based on this subject of feminism?
No, it's a humanitarian channel. So it talks about all the things that affect us. So my next one is Surrounded by Psychopaths. It is based by the book by Erickson Thomason. So it also talks about such a thing. I like to talk about a bit controversial things that people shy away from talking, but could affect us the most. It's just welcome to the dark side. No, joking. No, I know. I like things like also like recycling, the 3 days weekend, things like this. It's a very humanitarian channel. Also, we're going to talk about also economies and stuff like that. There's no problem with that also.
The reason I ask you is because this subject is so important today for young women, girls in their teens, to women who are older like me and so on. If we see a face when you speak, if I see your face and I feel your emotions, I'm hearing your voice, but the minute I connect with your face, with your eyes, with how you speak and how you feel, that comes across the screen to me, like you spoke to me just now. In the fashion that you were, that I'm doing this, it's a different surge of energy. So I suggest to you sometimes that when these topics are especially about children or women, if you show your face while you speak and we see the empathy in your eyes, I think it'll take your podcast a notch higher. Just a suggestion I'd like to make.
Right. But you see, the only challenge is because it's so scripted that I feel very intimidated in talking in it. Like me, I was recording it by voice and I'm like, and I was like, I cut it all out and all of that. So basically now I was thinking of getting like a teleprompter. Like this would help me feel more comfortable, and in the same time I can still talk to the screen. So yeah, I've been thinking of that, but I was like, you're being too much everywhere. But I think that would work for me. But thank you for that observation. You're right, completely. Yeah, great.
Sure.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you everyone for the wonderful feedback. Let me start summarizing. Nora, congratulations again for the debut podcast. From the content perspective, I like the topic feminism reinterpreted, and it's important. Each one of us as men, as a society, understand or hear the voices, the original voices, and it helps a lot to understand. Personally, I have been reading a lot of blogs, which women wrote, right? Then that helped me to understand the other side and more empathize with it. And apart, what we know is only men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and that is not a guide for any relationship, right? It's a lot more than that, and especially it's important to know about modern women, and there are very less content. It is always good to hear from that word.
At the end of the day, we are together, we coexist. So it just makes sense for us to all be like the same equal heaviness in our surroundings. That's that's the idea. Yeah, it is. Thanks.
Sure. And as we heard everyone's views on the podcasting production, right? One of the things I understand is that the background music has been a little bit off track. Maybe you may want to look at it and reduce the volume a bit or add something more which is going coherently. And this being your first podcast, I'm sure you will do.
I actually even had a problem with the mic because it was my phone mic, and I had a podcast mic. I couldn't use it, so now I fixed it up, so it's much better with podcast mic because it doesn't pick up these and these kind of words. But yeah, inshallah, stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much for your comments and observations. I really have heart, and inshallah.
And what is more important is taking action, right? And we are all proud of you that you have to hear your first podcast, and we look forward to hearing more from you.
Perfect.
Thank you. With that, I'll hand it back to the president.
Perfect.
Thanks, Noora. Congratulations, and thanks, JP, for running that so awesomely. So the power is getting feedback not only from the experts, but also from just anybody who is listening. And that's what makes this evaluation very, very authentic, So you need not be into podcasting, because when you're into the technicalities, you may not just have a common sense listen from someone who is completely not into it at all. And that's the power of this evaluation, which we love to give our members and our participants. With that note, we bring up the second speaker, who's the most ravishing and the most important personality in the entire world, which is me. And for that, I'm going to invite the content guide, who is going to be Deepika. Where's she gone? Hey. Okay. So Deepika is going to run the content guide. Deepika, do you want to introduce? You're on mute.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you, TM Alifia. So you are attempting your level 3 speech. And the title is storytelling. So the purpose of the speech is to share an established story. It could be a personal story, it could be a fictional story, it could be a non-fictional story. So I'm excited to listen to your story. So all the best to you, and I'm all ears. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepika. So just for the context, for putting context for our members and guests. So some of us come out with authentic podcasts that we are creating, but some of us just go and put our podcast, our pathways from Toastmasters into a content speech, and we record it on content. And we would want to invite all of you to do your level 4, where you have to do that creative, to come and do it with our club. So take a slot with us and share your creative digital content on our club if you like. So here it is. I'm talking about storytelling, and I'll share my screen.
Do you sometimes feel
loud enough?
So welcome back to Just for Laugh, which is dedicated to Toastmasters. Now the content this is about is storytelling, and how do you incorporate a story into sharing a message. What I'm going to speak about is an attitude of abundance. The question is, how many of you dream big? Do you sometimes feel that maybe your dreams are a lot bigger than you. Do you sometimes feel in self-doubt with the feeling of being incapable or incompetent? Now, this can sometimes even stop you from giving your dream a try. One belief system is that God would not have given us that dream. God maybe would not even have given us that desire unless He also gave us the talent and ability to make that dream a reality. All we need is an attitude of abundance. So let me share the story of a man named Bucky. Bucky's life was absolute shambles. It was worse than shambles. He was unemployed, bankrupt, and his reputation was completely ruined. His first child had actually died because of malnutrition, and now his wife had a second child just to share his entire world of misery. And still in those times of depression, deep depression that he was in, Bucky, for some reason, still felt hope. He had this unique feeling of being on the brink of something big. Good or bad, but he knew that something big was going to happen. This stupid idea occupied so much of his thoughts, and he spent hours sitting on the living room couch, just thinking and trying to understand, and this entire illusion of what it could be that he's not being able to figure out. And still he was so determined to want to find it. But did he find anything? What do you think? He didn't. He spent another year struggling to pay his bills, find food for the family, and literally zero sense of dignity, being jobless, penniless, and being an absolute nobody. Finally, one day, he reached the breaking point. He had to give up. His hope had completely gone dry, and Bucky no more felt as determined. That winter, this 32-year-old man, he wandered around the streets of Chicago and found himself at Lake Michigan. As he looked into the icy waters, he was gambling with this urge of suiciding. He wanted to simply throw himself in, give up, end this entire pain once and for all. Well, he did. While he was on the verge of sinking, he heard this unique voice from somewhere, from way above. And that voice was like screaming at him. It says, "Hey, you do not have the right to eliminate yourself. You do not belong to you, buddy. You belong to the universe." What? You belong to the universe. Really? Bucky was really confused and he had no idea what this was all about. And then again, he got another thought which saying maybe this was what he was seeking for the past year. Which obviously comes with a doubt, and a big doubt, which says, what can me, one single nobody, do to contribute anything to the universe? What good am I for the universe? I can't even handle my own family and get enough food to serve my own family. What am I going to be of use to the universe? I mean, how many of you understand what he's going through at that stage? And then he decided to change his attitude of abundance. He promised God and the universe, or whatever you want to call it. And he said that he would devote and give up the rest of his life to bless as many lives as he can, as possible. In fact, he made a very specific commitment that at the end of every month, after providing whatever for his family, the bare necessities, he will take whatever money that's left in his bank account and give it away to someone in need. Bucky actually kept his word. And this is where the entire transition happened. This mindset of giving. Miracles started coming. He met people sitting on a bench who offered him some sort of temporary work. Old friends started calling him and said, help him out with this or that, and they even paid him for his services. Before he knew it, Bucky had found a unique interest in designs, and he had started learning about buildings and architecture and how to design civilization. From somewhere he created this geodesic dome, which is even used today in the greatest architectural monuments all over the world. For the next 54 years, Bucky kept going. He kept his promise. He was awarded 25 patents, he wrote 28 books, he circled the globe dozens of times, lecturing to millions. He also won the Presidential Medal of Freedom. His family, definitely a lot more comfortable lifestyle, and more than $30 million passed through his hands. But he kept his word. He kept giving away whatever he left after serving his family to the people in need. 21 years after he died, the United States Post Service honored Bucky with a postal stamp. Our Buckminster Fuller, one of the world's most premium architects, beating fear, scarcity, even suicide, Buckminster Fuller showed us how to live life just by changing your attitude of abundance. So tell me, which dreams are you chasing and which dreams are you avoiding? Just remember, when God gave you that dream, 100%, God has also given you the talent and the ability to make that dream a reality. Our life leaves clues. Let's pay attention.
So over to Deepika. You're on mute, darling.
Sorry. I would like to congratulate podcaster Alifia for such a fantastic podcast. I mean, it was such a soothing voice, and I would say the topic is very relatable, you know, the attitude of abundance, and all working people and all of us, you know, we look for the attitude, and we generally, you know, we say that attitude is everything. So it's a very good topic that you have chosen, and I would say that you have ticked all the boxes of storytelling. You know, if I talk about like best practice, so you started with the question and you created Bucky as a character. So, you know, you brought that character to life, and I was just into my own world. I created a Bucky as an old guy, and when you said, oh, he's 32, and then I came back, okay, and just I actually made him a little bit younger than what I earlier imagined. Then you said that, you know, his son died, and, you know, but still he didn't lose hope, and he was penniless. And when you said that, you know, he was about to jump into the icy water of Michigan Lake, that was the point, you know, you really caught me. And you said there was a voice, and you don't have a right to eliminate yourself. You belong to universe. So that was like a question and answer session that's happening between Bucky and somebody else. So I kind of, you know, imagine that there's another character who has been talking to Bucky. So it's like a Q&A session into the storytelling. That was really fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And then you slowly brought back at, you know, how his mindset changed from, you know, and then he circled the globe, and I again circled with you. So I was circling with, and then you said that he won the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Then I entered into the White House, and I felt that President Obama is, you know, sticking the medal on his chest. So it was really fantastic. You had the right pauses in your storytelling, which is something I really like. You know, the voice modulation, when you said voice, and when you said that, oh, hey, you don't have right. You know, I felt that, you know, the modulation was upright. Content was excellent. I wish you could have, you know, extended it for some more time, because I was so much into the storytelling. And the best thing is it did not sound predictive, so I was listening to more and more, and I was just looking forward to, so what is going to happen? Is he going to die in the Michigan lake, or is he going to jump up? And so things like that. So it was quite good. A lot of highs and lows into your podcast. Yeah, I mean, and that Q&A session, which generally, I don't see in a lot of podcasts, and you did that. So, just a little bit of, kind of a power in your voice. If you can add that, it'll make your podcast from fantastic to fantabulous. But very well job done. Congrats, TM Alifia. Over to you.
Sure.
Thank you, Deepika. Yeah, JP, you want to take over?
Yeah.
As well?
Probably we will also hear others' feedback session. Hey, Toastmaster Lakshmi, would you like to go ahead and share your views on?
Yes, please. Alifia, when you started with the title of abundance, I was thinking, here comes one more motivational speech. I'm sorry, I don't mean to put it a bit crudely, bitchy. I don't mean to do that. I was thinking it was something going to be along those lines. It was motivational, but what caught my attention is the storyline that you brought in with it. The story, because very often I go into depression thinking, where the hell am I going? What am I going to do? And then I try to pick myself. So because of the storyline, I could actually connect with your narration. It was very well done. You had a fantastic storyline, but at the same time, the message with that story was woven throughout, the effort that goes in, the despair. I could actually live that story of Buckley, It was very, very well done. I would have liked to have seen a different kind of background music to it, though. I don't know. I'm not an expert on podcast. All of you know that. I was struggling to understand all this thing of it. But maybe some instrumental music, very soft instrumental music, in my view, would go well with it than this constant beat kind of music is my view on it. But otherwise, as Deepika has said, a little bit more of highs and lows also would have helped in certain cases. But apart from that, it was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. JP, you're on mute.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for that insightful feedback. Shall I request Toastmaster Sam Mo to share your views on how is that recording, the background music and other aspects? I believe he's not there. Shall I request Toastmaster Pari Sagar? Would you like to share your views on the story and the technical aspects of the recording?
Sorry about it. I couldn't hear because somewhere my audio was. I couldn't hear any of the the speech. I just entered and I couldn't catch up podcast.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Pari. Anyone else who would like to share their perspectives on the podcast and share their constructive feedback? Let's take some volunteers. All right. Sure.
Ashwin or Ashish or Karthikeyan, if they're around.
Okay. All right. Sure. Let me share my views. It was, I believe, packaged very well. Okay, and I see that it has been getting better. Right, seeing our President Alfia for the year, and I'm quite happy to see that. And also from the content perspective, it was a story, right? And Deepika have delved in detail about that. Okay. From a recording and a technology perspective, it has been good. And also the background music has also been soothing, right? It went very well along with the content. And also this one feedback on that topic is that usually it's all coming as preachy, right? And I believe Buckminster Fuller is one of the someone who has incredible there, right? I believe he's the guru or the mentor for Blair Singer, right? That's how I know him, and that was a storytelling, abundance, all these things. It's always good to hear, and thanks for narrating it well. And I look forward to hearing more from you, President Alifia. I believe over to you to take it forward with the next session. Hey, thank you, Deepika, for conducting it very well and also sharing constructive feedback to Toastmaster Alifia. We appreciate that.
Thank you, JP, and thank you, Deepika. That was a brilliantly done evaluation, and thank you for all the members who have given feedback. But just one small note for all the members: when someone is not getting started with starting their podcast, just because you think you don't have a topic, some people say, what do I make my podcast on? Or where do I get started? Or don't know, you don't need to, you're a Toastmasters, just start with your next speech. Just record it on a podcast. Our team will help you out with getting started, and just take that step. So please do not procrastinate any more than you already have. And version 1 is much better than version 0. Okay, so I'm going to just take that as a heads up, because this is the biggest topic. People don't know what to write content on and stuff like that. Just take your next post speech and just go and do the put it on a podcast, and that's it. Just get here and we will help you with the rest. The first step is a million miles. With that note, I'm going to take a lot of pride and pleasure to introduce the next section, because what is closest to audio? What is closest to audio? What is closest to audio? Closest to audio is video. And like some of Nora and all got a feedback as well, that if you could see and hear and at the same time and stuff, so people listen and consume content in different ways. One is they want to read it, some want to listen to it, but some want to listen and watch at the same time. And that's what it is. So if podcasting is one of the fastest and the fastest growing channel and media, which is growing wildfire, YouTube has been a platform which has forever been going and expanding very fast as wildfire. In fact, YouTube has become now the second Google, and most likely will defeat Google very soon as a search engine. So people are now searching and researching content more on YouTube. And people that are even creating podcasts are putting a podcast even on a YouTube. So do you want to know how to do YouTube or not? How many people want to know how and what it takes to get your podcast or get whatever content on YouTube? And a little more technicalities. Podcasting tends to be only audio, so you can focus a little more. But YouTube, like Nora highlighted, you want to read teleprompt and things like that. And how do you still look in the camera and know your content and things like that, right? So let's make it simple for all of us. We have these questions. We don't need to know all the answers, because we have experts who can give us the right answers. So with that note, I want to bring forward the YouTube growth strategist who has grown and generated hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. He consults with various personal brands and businesses across the globe and helping them to improve their YouTube followers and viewership and revenues from them. And he's generated great sales for his clients, and YouTube video funnel is his strongest strength. So who wants to know more about whatever doubts and questions and clarifications you want to know about YouTube and get there? I want to see a raise of hands. If I'm not getting raise of hands, I'm closing the meeting right here. Okay, only 2 of us, only Lakshmi and I, we need to be here. The rest are not, okay, I have Smita, I have 4, 5, okay, 6 out of, all right, yeah, I'm seeing more. Okay, guys, come on, we have a very, very senior personality with us. So the least we can do is show up to listen more. And this has been organized, and we do this every meeting. So let's bring it on for the YouTube video sales growth specialist, Aniket Vashisht.
Thank you, Olivia, for having me here. It's been pleasure listening to Karthik sir and all the things that has been happening. I've never been a member of a Toastmaster club, though I thought of doing when I came back to Delhi, but it got stuck. I was busy, and then I could never. One of the clubs are there in the CP nearby place. I stay nearby to CP. So yeah, maybe this was the way God wanted me to get into one of the Toastmasters clubs, which is amazing. I mean, for the last 1.5 years, I've been here and I was stuck here, and I was like, this is something I need to come more often to. So thank you so much for having me here. So yeah, I mean, if I go on speaking and it goes on and on and on, so I would just like you to just have a pen and a paper in front of you, because there's going to be more of a writing thing, because I'm going to speak and I don't know what I'm going to do it or I'm going to speak on, because I don't have a presentation. I don't generally keep a presentation in front of me, because I think that would restrict me for providing the real value that I can provide in terms of whatever I know. So I just don't keep a presentation in front of me so that I don't restrict myself in talking about things that can be helpful to people. So yeah, let me begin. So my name is Aniket Mishra. Generally, I write verses in places because it's my co-traits in the Hinduism. But apart from that, let's begin with the process. So if a person who wants to start a YouTube channel, she needs to understand there needs to be a niche specific to what they want to do on YouTube channel. It can never be thing like, you jump out to your channel, you make a channel, and then you think about, now what next. So you have to be clear. I'm talking about things that is the right and the best practices that you can follow. People generally try to figure it out once they jump out inside the swimming pool. They come to know about things from there. But as an expert, I would highly advise you to take the right strategy. If you have the opportunity of getting the right information and getting to learn about the right practices, it's always good to have some smart thinking and some smart guesses to start your YouTube journey. So before anything, before even thinking of posting content and making thumbnails, editing videos, the first problem that needs to be solved inside your mind, it needs to be what niche that you're going to focus on. If you are talking about personal branding, the personal branding will be your niche. We're going to talk about personal branding and nothing else apart from personal branding. Because YouTube algorithm is it's like a newborn baby. You have to teach him everything from scratch. So you have to teach him what you are about, what brand authority you're going to build on, what keyword is something which you are an expert on. So instead of focusing on different topic and different niches, you have to first figure it out what your niche is. Let's take an example. I talk about my niche is YouTube marketing. So I'm going to make just videos on just YouTube, nothing else. How to start a YouTube channel, grow a YouTube channel, get 1,000 subscribers, all sorts of things. Great, how to make great thumbnails, what are good content ideas, and the list goes on and on and on. So in that same manner, you have to figure it out what your niche is. Once the niche is done, let's suppose if we have a niche called personal branding. Personal branding is a very hot topic in the recent, like in past couple of years from 2019 onwards, when Gary Vee came into the big picture and we started following Gary Vee, Cardone, and all those big entrepreneurs from the Silicon Valley. So first we figure it out what your niche is. Once the niche is done, now the second thing is audience development. Who your audience is, whom you're going to sell your product, whom you're going to make videos for. So you have to figure it out. Once the niche is clear, now personal branding is my niche. Now, okay, personal branding is a big space. Whom you're going to make videos for. Let's say you have to find your audience avatar, how he or she looks like. To figure it out, I'm going slow, right? Can someone give me a raise? Yeah, so sure. So to find out what your demographic is in the terms of building an audience development, you have to figure it out what age group they belong to. How, what are their likings, their online behaviors, their offline behaviors, how are they triggered? So instead of me talking about facts, like last podcast we listened, it was more of storytelling and not about facts about abundance. Let's take an example and go throughout with the section so that you understand it in much better way. So let's take personal branding as an example that we have looked. Now, in terms of audience development, that is the second step. You have to figure it out whom you want to target to. Let's suppose you are a YouTube creator, you are whatever content that you're making, you're going to target to people who are in their college life. So let's suppose your age group is between 18 to 35 is your age group that you want to focus on in order to make the content on. Your target audience is school students or maybe the college students who are just graduating or who are just got into the college space. So you're going to teach them the value of social media. You're going to tell the person about personal branding, how personal branding is helpful, how this is something which you need to do in order to grow. Because more than CVs today, digital currency, which is your social media platform presence, is more matter in the world now. People want to look to your LinkedIn profile and not to your CV if you go to big MNCs nowadays. So that's the culture change that has happened in recent years. So you need to figure it out your audience, how you're going to make it, what they are, how they look like. So we are developing an audience. Let's suppose you make content on social media and personal branding, which is very similar to each other. So my audience looks like Aniket. Let's take Aniket as an audience avatar. Aniket is 22 years of age. Aniket belongs to metro cities in India. Let's take US. He belongs to top-notch cities like NYC, Texas, and all those big Boston city and all those big states. He comes from metro city with large amount of population and good exposure and good technology investments. So he has some kind of paying power. He has some kind of billing power that he can pay to, or he has some kind of pocket money that he's getting from his parents, or he's having some kind of money transaction that is going on, cash flow is going on around. So that person is your ideal audience now if you are trying to target to sell your product or make content on a particular topic, which is social media or personal branding. Social media in terms of growing Instagram, growing LinkedIn, talking about Twitter marketing, talking about Facebook, how you can generate leads. And there are ample amount of things that can go around in the small term social media, and which is very related to personal branding. Personal branding is nothing but generating a personal brand out of a social media, generating your brand presence. Like a brand is a name like Nike, Adidas and stuff. And personal brand is nothing but your name on the board, you being the brand itself instead of a company or a logo. So in order to make content, you have to make an audience development. You have figured out what the age group he belongs to, where she stays, what are his likings and disliking. He's in college student. So the main problem that he's facing is to get an extra buck, because he's into the college. He's getting a decent amount of money from his parents. He don't have extra money, but he want to have a lavish life because he comes from a middle class family. He doesn't have a lot of amount of money that he can spend on going on clubbing and enjoying life. He needs some extra income. So he wants to start a side hustle, which can pay and which can, fulfill all his dreams and aspiration that he's having inside his college life. So now you have a very specific target audience that you're going to target to. The Venn diagram of starting a channel is what your channel stands for and what audience cares for. And the mixture of both of things is where the content formulates, where you need to make content on. Now you know what your audience is, you know what your niche is. Now you are ready to go to the third step, which is finding out what content to make. Because once you know, okay, Aniket, I know it. This is the target audience I want to make. This is the content topic I want to make. But what content to make now? That's the first question that comes after you figure it out, the second step. So finding out the content is very tricky because you feel like, this is very generic. A lot of people are doing, what should I make? What should I not make? So I'm confused what content can be done. So there is a P&D formula that I generally tell to people. Very easy. You don't know what to make, just apply a P&D formula. P&D stands for pain and dreams. If you are talking about social media, let's say my pain is, I don't know how to grow my Instagram account. I don't know how to grow my Twitter. I don't know how to grow my YouTube. Those are my pains. So make a content bucket of pain, write pain and do +1. Then write dreams and then do +1. +1 stands for a plus, an addition of a video that you will make in those two content buckets. I'm not trying to tell you about any other content strategy that you can follow in order to get the content ideas. I'm just talking about the basic things that you need in order to just start off. Because when you are starting off, if I want to talk about some sophisticated terms and high-end strategies, I'll go and speak and things will go out of your head. So instead of going that, because a lot of people and a lot of audience who are listening right now, who are just aspiring YouTubers or who are just doing on YouTube but not doing very good. So instead of thinking about professional things that can make you rich quick schemes and stuff like that, think about some basic things. Basic things are pain and dreams. Add on to that. What are my pains? I don't know how to grow my Instagram. So my content can be how to grow on Instagram. Second content can be how to grow 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 followers on Instagram. What are the right hashtag strategy that I need to apply? How I can use story highlights on my Instagram to boost up my growth. And there are a hell lot of things that can go on just one single platform, which is Instagram. That can be amplified to Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And TikTok in some areas, though India has banned that app, so we cannot talk about TikTok in India at least. So you have to figure it out, the pain, and that needs to be added. Plus one means plus one video to that content bucket, pain. Same thing can be applied on the dream section, dreams and ambition section. Plus one. I want to grow to 100K followers on Instagram, or I want to make 100K on YouTube and get the silver play button. Those are our dreams. Those are our aspirations when we start out our YouTube journey. So that can be product-wise and packaged in a such manner that those dreams can be sold in terms of content. I'm not talking about just selling. I'm talking about presenting content in a way that it looks like it has been. See, if your content gets viral, if your content gets the amount of reach that it needs to have, that is sold in normal marketing term, which we mentioned. So what you need to do is when you are starting out, just focus on two content buckets, pain and dreams. Make double down content on pains. Pains can be different down on subtopics like what are the FAQ questions that you faced in your initial steps. I, being a marketer, when I learned about Instagram marketing, when I learned about other social media platforms, what FAQ questions arose in my mind? I was searching on YouTube, how to grow an Instagram page, how to get 100 subscribers, how to is one of the subset of paid. Making videos on how to will help you to reach out to more people in the initial phase. And then listicle videos like 5 ways to grow on Instagram. So you talk about 5 strategies, 3 ways to hack your story to have more engagement. These can be your content ideas. We are just talking about a particular niche. You can apply the same formula across all niches. It's evergreen thing. It's not very specific to social media or specific to any niche. It's evergreen formula that you can apply. So now you have 2 content buckets which you can apply on, which you can make videos on, and then you can proceed with making content. Now, the 2 major metrics that helps to grow a YouTube channel is, one is the click-through ratio rates, which determines your thumbnail and title. And the second is average view duration. How long your video has been watched on YouTube, how long a person has stayed on your YouTube video. That's the 2 major metrics that will help you to grow your YouTube channel. So let's talk about the first of one of the 2, which is click-through rates, which determines which determines into the 2 section of thumbnail and title. So let's take the first thing, which is thumbnail. How do you make a thumbnail? How make a thumbnail which will get you more clicks? The clicks is the first thing. See, you can make an awesome content with a very good, lighting and setup, like getting your background blur and having a good mic and everything. But if you don't have a good thumbnail, no one's going to click it on you. No one's going to know about that you had an awesome content there. So the first step in growing a YouTube channel is to get the clicks, is to let people come. So I give an example is a person is knocking your door. You need to open the door and let him in. So to let him in, you need to get more clicks. To get more clicks, you need to make good thumbnails. And how do you make it? Is you need to generate curiosity in minds of people. You have to either solve a problem. You need to either solve a problem and give an answer simultaneously inside the thumbnail itself, or tell a story that you want to make on. Let's say we are talking about personal branding. So personal branding can be in a specific way. Let's talk about taking very generic content, which is personal branding simplified. Me being a marketer who wants to learn about social media marketing, the first thing that I will come to know is that personal branding is something which I need to focus on in order to grow my brand, in order to get more clients, in order to get the brand awareness on social media platforms. what I will do is to understand how I can build my personal brand over social media platforms. So the first question that I'll search is how to grow a personal brand. So a thumbnail which mention about personal branding simplified will make my job easier, because this is a complex formula that I am suffering from. Like I don't know how to grow my personal brand. And this is just a second. I think I've messed up my AC. So sorry. You have to make very easy and very simple text on your thumbnail. It needs to have 2 to 3 texts, nothing more than that. If you have a lot of text going on in the thumbnail, you see a phone size, it's this small. And the thumbnail that you're watching it's this small. You cannot make it more chaotic, because once a person is scrolling down the browse page, it needs to be very clear and simple to the audience, because audience comes for the 2 formula, which is why and what. Why is why they want to come on YouTube. What problems it's going to solve is the second thing. Like why is why I want to come on YouTube, and the content that you make is solving the second problem by satisfying the why by your what. So you need to understand it needs to be very simple. So a content on personal branding would be something like how personal branding simplified. Simple. Using a strong keyword like simplified will help me understand that this particular content will solve a problem for me. I have a complex problem that I cannot grow my personal brand on social media platforms. This video suggests that personal branding simplified. So simplified term and a strong keyword will help me understand, okay, this is the video that I need to watch because it has simplified the complex problem that was made for me. The second thing is, it is what we call in Hindi, I don't know, a lot of people don't understand Hindi, we call is ek dusre ke पूरक बनाना. It needs to be complementing to each other. So to make that thing happen, you have to have some title that has been complementing to the thumbnail. So if you have a title like personal branding simplified, your title, the copy on the thumbnail, the title can be something like how I made $1,000 a month with personal branding. Instead of using some generic keywords and some generic title like what is personal branding and how to grow a personal brand, because you will see there are lakhs and lakhs of videos on the same content topic. How you're going to differentiate between all those people would be something which will generate curiosity in the minds of people who are your target audience. Let's get back to our target audience. Our target audience was Aniket, who is into the college. He wants to have a side hustle which can give him a little bit of money, which can be utilized into going to clubbings and having cafes and having Domino's and McDonald's and all those things. How he can earn money, and $1,000 a month is 70,000 rupees in Indian currency. That's huge. That's more than the average pay a person earns in India at least. So a video title something like how I make $1,000 a month with personal branding will be intriguing to me. I'll be more obvious to click on this particular thumbnail because all those people are talking about general things. Generic, it's very generic, but this person has something special. This person will help me to eradicate not just a problem of personal branding, but when I look back to my ideal audience who had problems with the money-making problems, that would be also solved with this particular thing. So you need to understand that title and the thumbnail needs to be complementing to each other, and it needs to either solve a problem, generate curiosity, or tell a story that this is something you need to watch for this particular thing. Let's take another step into that thumbnail game. Let's suppose, I think 21 people are watching us. Gary Vee is a very well-known face into the entrepreneur section. We all know Gary Vee. Let's say the first thing that comes in my mind, at least in my mind, is personal branding is very related to Gary Vee. Gary Vee talks about personal branding all the time. And he has made personal brand, and out of the personal brand, he has sold a lot of business and developed a lot of business and those kinds of following that is helping him to generate those kinds of revenue, millions of dollars. So just think, if your thumbnail has the copy which suggests personal branding simplified, your image, and Gary Vee's image. Now think about a factor which is familiarity factor. It gives me a familiarity look on the thumbnail. It gives me some recall value inside of my mind, which goes unconsciously. You don't do it on purpose. It goes unconsciously. That Gary Vee, it's connected to personal branding. The first thing that comes in my mind is personal branding and Gary Vee, which are very similar to each other, which is very commonly used in the marketing world. I see Gary Vee, I see a copy which suggests how personal branding simplified on the thumbnail. I see a title which suggests how I make $1,000 a month with personal branding. That's the damn great idea of thumbnail, title, and a context to what personal branding is all about. And this is a video that I would definitely click as an audience avatar for that particular creator.
Yeah, Aniket,
add on to that. Yeah, JP, yeah, please.
One more minute and let's move on to Q&As.
Yeah, sure. So that's the thing. And the second thing add on to that would be mentioning Gary Vee's name in the title. How Gary Vee makes millions of dollars with personal branding. So that's the 70% of the game of the YouTube. Description, tags, that's secondary. That can be learned from other YouTube videos. But working 70% on the thumbnail and title will entirely change your game. And the next 30% of the game is video optimization. And video optimizations there are 2P formulas. One is production, second one is presentation. Presentation is how good your orator skills are, how well you can do with the storytelling, having a storytelling arc, which is hook, re-engagement, setup of the thing, climax, re-engagement, and the conclusion. This is a storytelling arc you can get on Google if you search. That's the formula you need to apply in order to make good content which engages with the audience. It cannot be just a monotonous you coming up and speaking about it. The second P is production, having good editing thing. The first 15 seconds of the video is very important. And remember, voice search has come into the picture and the voice SEO has also come into the picture. So whatever you say inside the video will help you rank. If you say YouTube marketing, you talk about Instagram marketing, and in the first 15 seconds of the video, if you talk about that particular content, that will help YouTube algorithm understand that this content is all about the keywords that you have mentioned in your title, thumbnail, and the description and the tag section. So speak about that keyword and make it more humanly. It need not be like something, you go on speaking on the same keyword again and again. Let it be very okayish. Let it be humanly possible, like whatever it comes in the picture. And using of text, using of screenshots, using of pattern interrupts like cutting the screen, having a transition coming in between, some text popping up, some memes popping up, so that there is something or the other which goes around in the video and it doesn't look boring to the people. So you can apply the 2P formula to optimize your videos to the best, and why and what formula to understand what content you need to make, differing to pain and dreams and the FAQ questions that can arise as a newbie. Think yourself in the place of your audience, what you would go on search on YouTube and make content on that. And the second of the two metrics, which is very important, is the thumbnail and title. So generating curiosity, solving a problem, having that novelty and the familiarity factor, adding context to the thumbnail, like putting up a Gary Vee image related to personal brand and giving more context so that people are curious. And then mentioning title like how I made $1,000 a month while personal branding, or how Gary Vee makes millions of dollars with personal branding, adding context to what you are targeting to. Thinking about the pain points as a marketer when you're trying to, YouTube channel is also a business. It is not just a platform that you go on and make content on. It's the second largest search engine after Google. So you need to think in that manner and make content on. So that's about it. If this is the general idea you can follow, I think in the initial phase for the next 30-35 videos, because there is no right or wrong strategy. There is a strategy that works for you. I can tell about a lot of things, but that won't work for you unless you go and apply and see if it is working for you. So go make 30 videos at least, see what your data is, what your audience is reacting to, what content they are wanting to watch more. Read the comments of your competitors also to know what content you can make and what problems people are facing. So you can have a very clear idea about what content you can make. Read the comments, see what your data says, what thumbnails you have got good clicks, what videos have been watched more, and then repeat that process again and again, and that will help you to grow your YouTube channel. So that's pretty much it, JB. Any questions, like we can go on for the Q&A.
Hey, thanks, Aniket, for the insightful session, and thanks for dropping a lot of value bombs. I'm sure it will definitely be useful to us. So one question we have from Toastmaster Nora, is what's the video editing software mentioned before Reaper?
I don't know about where Reaper is mentioned.
Okay.
Generally, video editing software that you can use is Filmora. It's not free. You'll get that watermark, but Premiere Pro is also not free. Generally, softwares are not very free, which you online. You have to get a paid subscription for it. But for the initial phase, Filmora is also good. Camtasia, you can use Camtasia. Yeah, Camtasia is free. I think Camtasia. No, DaVinci Resolve is free. So you can use DaVinci Resolve. If anyone can write it down, if you know the exact spelling, DAVI then CI, DaVinci CI. So you can use DaVinci Resolve. That's a free software, and you can download it directly from the DaVinci Resolve website. To use for making thumbnails, you can use Canva. Canva is a very good free software that you can use. You can use Photopea. It's PHOTOPEA. Photopea. It's the exact ditto copy of Photoshop, but it is online. It's like on a cloud thing. It is not. There is no storage. There's nothing. You just go upload on a browser and you can use it. It's very similar to Photoshop. But it is, technical. You need to understand how Photoshop works. But using Canva, there's a lot of templates. Use Canva. It's very easy to make. You can get tons and tons of tutorials on YouTube. Yeah.
Thank you, Aniket. Any other questions? We can go ahead and unmute ourselves.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hey, let me understand this, Aniket.
Yes.
While we are
please.
waiting. So, what should be the mindset in the first 3 to 6 months of starting a YouTube channel? So, do you look at making $1 million, or what should focus on?
You have to be very clear with the agenda. Right now, when I go to my kitchen right now to have my lunch, I need to be clear that what I'm going to make for myself. It cannot be like I go to the kitchen and look to the stove for the next 15 minutes and think what I'm going to do now. So you have to be clear with the agenda that no, I'm going to make some chapatis and some vegetables for myself. I'll start doing it. So you need to be very clear. Your agenda is to grow your channel, get the brand awareness or whatever you're trying to do, or your agenda is to sell your products. So even if you are not into the partner policy, you can still sell your products by putting up the affiliate links and everything. So for the next 3 months, at least once you're starting out, for the next 90 days, you need to have at least 30 to 35 videos on the channel to determine your next step. Before that, you cannot take any decision on what you need to do. 30 to 35 content, at least.
Okay, sure. Okay, so another on the mindset, right? As a beginner, right? What should I focus on? I know what you have seen to be working for someone who has stayed consistent for about a year and taken it from there. What are all the 3 top attributes or mindsets they have? Which
let's take an example for the podcasting community, as we have the majority audience for the podcasting community. The first thing that you need to focus when you are growing a podcast is you need to understand the funnel, like the video sales funnel, as Alafia mentioned about me. That's the funnel. Like the first thing that comes into your funnel needs to be awareness. It needs to be videos that are bringing the traffic to your channel. It can never be your podcast. Understand it. Your long 1 hour podcast can never bring the traffic to your YouTube channel. But the clips, but the drama, but the controversy, but the content topic which has search results will bring the search results to your channel. So you need to understand the content that you are making, all the podcast people are making right now, and that majorly mistake that they are making is they are thinking that the whole 1 hour content will bring us all the audience. That's the middle of the funnel content. The top of the funnel content is clips from that 1 hour podcast. The clips can be, if you talk about personal branding for 1 hour, how to create a personal brand. What are the great strategies of personal branding tools that can help you enhance your productivity. What are the right mindsets to have or build a personal brand? These 4 content topics will bring you search result and not that 1 hour content. So that 1 hour content is the middle of the funnel. And then apart from the clips, you have to make some solo videos also. You need to have a mindset that, this is what I want my audience to listen to. So you have to make solo content which has search results. So you have to go on YouTube, search for that. There are a lot of things that you can do in order to know what search you are getting on that particular keyword. Know that and then make the content. So the funnel looks like something like this. The top of the funnel, where the awareness section is there, you need to make clips and solo videos. The bottom of the funnel would be the long form content, and the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the content funnel would be where you want to make the money. So you can drive that traffic, make a live stream and drive the traffic to your website, sell a product, make a dedicated video towards what you want to do. Because by the two funnel, you have audience on your channel. Now, whatever content you're going to make, those audience will reach out, that the videos will reach out to those people. And if they are good fans, if they are your super fans, they would definitely buy. So this is a very specific, simple, basic sales funnel that you can follow. Second thing, having guests which has more reach and more brand awareness on YouTube. Getting on guests, not taking someone who is on your level or below you. This is very it doesn't look good when I speak about this, because you should take people from your peers too. But when I talk about growing a YouTube channel as a marketer, I'll be strong when I speak that. You need to take. I have grown a YouTube channel, though I should not mention and promote myself, but I grew from 24K to 90K almost in 6 months of time, just by doing collaborations, nothing else. So you need to understand collaborations are very important when you are growing up, because no one wants to listen to you right now. No one wants to listen to Aniket. Why would someone listen to me? Collaborate with someone else and then use their audience, consume their audience, use keywords that help you rank inside their keywords and rank in their section, and then grab their audience. And that's how you can grow the podcasting thing. Clips, making clips and getting the search traffic, and doing great, guest podcasts with people who have higher reach and higher brand awareness in the YouTube section. This is the 2 tips that can be helpful for the podcasting community.
Sure. Hey, thank you, Aniket, for the wonderful insights. Hey, Alifia, how much more time do we have? I believe we are already overshoot. All right. Hey, Aniket, how do people reach out to you in case?
They can reach out to me on Facebook. Like generally, I am very active on Facebook. They can reach out to me on Aniket Mishra Live on Instagram. You can go Aniket Mishra Live, you can search and you can find me there. Though I'm not very active on Instagram, but I reply to all my DMs. So if you have any queries or anything, you can feel free to ping and we can talk and we can discuss. I would love to help. I would love to help. That's the first priority that I have always. And on Facebook profile also, you can reach out. I think JP has mentioned the link. You can go and search for Aniket Mishra and you will give a caricature face of mine with a white background. That's
sure.
That's where you can mention. Yeah.
Thank you.
What we can do is, JP, officially we can close the meeting, and if people have more questions or want to have more chat, we can stay on for another 10 minutes if we like.
Sure.
Okay, sure.
So I think Abraham has a question as well because he's raised his hand. But what I would do is I will officially want to thank Aniket for his real hands-on experience. And the best thing is everything has been acronymized for takeaways. So we have PNP and we have, P and D, and then we have 2 T's, and then we have, so if you guys don't know, we're going to have a quiz, and whoever answers more answers on these acronyms, you get a free membership in your own club. I'm just joking. But, valuable takeaways and so hands-on. And we can see your, in 1 year, you've done hands-on experience. And that's the power of focus on one stream of social media, because I think some people try to become master of all. And, but then we can see that you've, gone totally in and rightfully the right medium, the most growing and the right channel. And congratulations for whatever you've created. And so many hands-on takeaways. Who loved it? Only 2 people. Yeah, damn.
Yes, me. Yeah.
I can count 2 hands of the Aditi and Lakshmi, and brilliant takeaways and very hands-on. We loved it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
With that note, officially, I want to end this meeting, but I want to allow J. Abraham and everyone else to ask questions if they like, and whoever is getting delayed. We come back on the 3rd week of this month, every 3rd Monday, which is going to be, please do join, and whoever is a guest, please join our guest WhatsApp group. You can come for unlimited number of free meetings. Even if you're Toastmasters in any other club, come join our meeting, get inspired by whatever we're trying to do here with the digital content of digital style of communication. You don't need to become a member to attend our meetings. Please keep coming, get inspired, and spread the word. This is the need of the hour. If you're not digitally communicating, you are missing the bus. So better sooner, later, just don't procrastinate, just join. So we come back on the 20th of September at 7 p.m. And with that note, we officially call this meeting to a close.
Bye, guys. Bye.
So, Abraham, do you want to have a question?
Yeah, hi, Aniket.
Yeah.
Thanks for a great session, very well encapsulated in 30 minutes. When you talked about personal branding, I mean, treat me as a novice, like a layman. I have an idea about personal branding as a job role, where you kind of accentuate your strengths and work on your weaknesses. But when it comes to a YouTube channel, will I be wrong if I say that personal branding could be with a person and whatever he does? I mean, why I'm asking you, because in the beginning of the session, you said you need to pick a niche. That means you go a certain way. But if you take a personality or a person, an individual, he could have different interests. So will it be workable if the interest can be generated on that person's traits and interests and hobbies, which could be varied? It needn't be like a particular thing. For example, person can be a foodie. He can for example, in this like desert driving, I'm just picking up things. It could be like one day about, okay, I want to try desert driving. It's something that's of interest to me, and I'm a foodie now. I found about this. Will that be still a workable formula, or would you still insist on going on a particular topic?
So when you talk about having different kind of tastes in terms of
Correct.
being a person, individual, that can only work in the terms of vlogging channel, where you show yourself as a brand, and then you go on showing your day-to-day life and you talk about different aspects of the things. But when you are trying to grow a specific targeted audience for maybe for your brand awareness or for your business or for anything, whatever agenda do you have to be very specific, because you cannot confuse the algorithm in terms of what you are trying to build on, what authority you're trying to build on YouTube. So you have to be clear that if you talk about stock market, then the stock market things needs to be there. You can add up to the Bitcoin thing because it's trendy and then it's related to investing and everything. But you cannot go and then directly talk about something about, like desert riding and stuff. That will harm your content creation journey and your YouTube channel, and the spikes will go down. If you are just starting out, if you are if you are already making, millions and millions of views, you will get some little to less views in terms of different content which you are niche, but then your audience base is already done. They might like it, they might not like it. They might accept your growth and changes that you make on channel. But if you are starting out, I highly recommend people to just go on a particular niche and then double down on that. Because for the next 15, 20, 30 videos, when you are just starting out, you need to double down on a particular keyword so that you teach the algorithm that, I being Abraham, I talk about stock marketing. So YouTube algorithm needs to understand that Abraham and stock marketing are very similar to that. So next time, because YouTube algorithm is very tricky, it is very similar to the lookalike audience that we have on Facebook ads. It generates a similar type of audience in the second space. Just imagine there's a second space and it creates similar type of audience that your audience is already having. And he might suggest your videos to those audience also, which is lookalike to what your audience are reacting to on your videos. So it's that deep in terms of algorithm. So you have to make content and double down on a particular niche so that you build authority on that keyword. So you build authority. If I want to build an authority of on my content topic, which is YouTube marketing for that matter, I'm going to make next 100 videos on YouTube marketing. That's all. That's how you build a brand. And if you talk about different tastes, you can go and start a vlogging channel, do that, and that will still work, because that's where you try to show your personality and behind the scenes of what you do in your life. But once you talk about a specific thing, and once you talk about building up a brand on a particular niche or a particular thing that you want to make people remember you for, or know you for, you have to be very specific in terms of content.
Right. No, I just again, I'm not so experienced, and I'm not been exposed to a lot of YouTube trendsetters, but I've heard and I've seen a bit of where people are interested in a person, what he's doing.
Yes.
So but you were saying that that has been built to a certain level by focusing on one thing and then diversifying. So probably not diversifying as a start off, but you focus on something, build your subscribers, and then you start doing different things. Okay.
Yes. Once you have certain type of audience, once you see, you have to build the foundation. If you have that building, you can do anything. But if your foundation is not cool, you don't have people in front of you. If you diversify, those 10 people that came here to learn about stock marketing will leave your channel and go. Because now you talk about desert thing and all those things that doesn't matter to them.
Right. Got it. Yeah.
So
thanks.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Aniket, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
It's actually a question which can piss off a lot of people, to be honest, but it can probably be a question which people don't officially ask. But the point is that some people are not, YouTube is about coming out in the open and, being in front of the video and things like that. There can be some geeks who don't necessarily want to come out in front of the camera and, you can still have voiceover as a podcast or whatever. And you can have videos talking and you can have text coming with stock images or whatever. But can that be a modality someone can allow an agency to work on? Because it's the need of the hour for every company. You need YouTube, but not necessarily every founder or every person will want to come out on the video and show up. In our video meetings, nobody is showing up. So what is the solution?
So a solution to that would be investing on an editor that can make video essays, that can make like essays going on.
You're stuck actually. Is it stuck only for me or?
Trying to say, but that's expensive. I lost connection.
Actually, because your voice.
I think I lost connection. So I was saying that that's a little bit of expensive. You have to hire some good editors who can make good video essays where you can give the voiceovers or maybe whiteboard animations or just the animations for that matter. So that video can be a very good explanation to the people who are listening, who are just listening to the voice and just watching the content. Because normal visualization or that spectrum that comes up as a podcast when we see into the videos, those videos doesn't perform very well until unless you have grown a brand on a social media platform which is driving traffic a lot to your channel. So people come on YouTube to see something which is visually appealing to them, not just the voice. So until unless you have a video essay or a whiteboard animation going on, or maybe some kind of animation that is going on into the screen, people would not be hooked. They would listen to some time, but then they would leave.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Either you come on the camera and you speak, or you hire a good editor.
Yeah.
And you pay.
Yeah, because not every company is a person driven. Some companies and big corporates are not necessarily people driven, but
yes.
I think
They generally do the animation part. Like I have worked with SaaS companies too. SaaS company doesn't have a face. They just show the explanation and tutorials and everything, which is just good editing and voiceover. That's all.
Yeah. So many people who have died, like for example, Jim Rohn and Eric, these guys who are put in, they're not necessarily on video, but then they do have their face and then they just keep on the video. Right.
So that can be one thing. Yeah, please, Nora.
Okay, so yeah, you said the multiple social media channels can be a bit distracting, and yeah, I do agree with that. But I'm trying to build a target audience or an audience. I'm really struggling, even though I'm trying my best. But I joined Medium and I started posting on Medium. I think that I got like a lot of organic appeal there, and I translated it also in Arabic. So also it gave me more of an appeal to the wider both. And what else? So I have that. I have Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and the podcast. So I feel like it comes together, but it can feel the link between them can feel like it's hard to link all of them together for the audience to say, oh, here's a podcast and here's a YouTube and here's like, I'm trying my best, but like I'm finding it very difficult there. And another point I would like to add is that I was considering in promoting, like getting a freelancer in promoting digital marketing. And like, I got like weird things like, I'll buy you claps. I'll get you 100 claps in Medium. And then I have Instagram that gives me different things. And I have, and I feel like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. Like, how am I going to keep up with all of this? And what do I really need? And maybe you know better.
So just take an example, social media, take an example like a tree. You have to create a stem, which is the truck, what we say. I'm really bad at biology. The stem, like the whole major part of this, we call it truck, or what we call it, like the major part of the, like just imagine the tree. Then the major part of the tree needs to be one simple platform that will have all your audience coming to. Let's take, if you want to drive all your traffic to Spotify, just say. So you are sending all your traffic to Spotify and growing that Spotify platform. And then what you can do is to cross promote on all the platforms from there itself. What you can do is first take all your machineries, all your platforms, and drive traffic to Spotify. Now you have a huge chunk of people that are coming to Spotify. Let's take, you did it for YouTube. Now you have 10,000 people coming on YouTube from all those social media platforms where you do Quora thing, where you do Medium, where you do Instagram, TikTok, all sorts of Facebook, all you're sharing on WhatsApp and everywhere, and you're sending the traffic to YouTube. Now you have the major chunk of people on YouTube as your audience. When you have people gathered in one place, instead of talking people from Medium, talking people from Instagram, you send everyone to one single room, which is one single platform which you want to grow in large, and then ask them to do whatever you want to do. If you want to send people to, please go on.
I agree, but like the problem is, like, for example, someone uses like iTunes, Apple, and they're like, sorry, I can't hear it. And then I have someone else that would say, what is Spotify? Things like that. And I'm trying to reach to a wider audience of age gaps, and that could be a bit challenging for the older ones. So that's why I decided putting on YouTube. For me, I want an organic growth, but I still want a better appeal, especially in Instagram, because there's a bit of a craze there, in that you need to be more proven to be there. That why I don't mind in the beginning just for it to be accessible, because that's my concern.
So you can do is, organic growth is something which needs time, and it will take a lot of time for you to build on. You can go to the paid marketing section, hiring people who can do it for you. But then again, as you mentioned, there are a lot of shady people who talks about buying followers, buying subscribers and things. You need to be very, taking distance from those people, because those gonna harm your algorithm. What I would do as you, if I was you, what I would do is, for the next 3 months, I would not think about growing my channel or, having subscribers or having anything. I would be focusing more on improving my content first. So that once you start doing paid marketing and hire someone to make it more appealing and make it more visually, something like a professional kind of thing, those big podcasters and all those creators do, the content needs to be at that part. It needs to be at that level where you can promote and reach to a certain kind of audience and they like it. Because if you invest in good production, if you invest in everything, doing paid marketing and doing everything, and your content is not up to the mark, I would come to your profile, but I would not subscribe to your channel.
I got it. Yeah, perfect.
So your idea needs to be, for the next 3 months, I as Nora need to be improving my content in the best I can on my grounds, on my level, on whatever I can do, so that you understand when you try to hire someone, you need to know about that particular thing, or that person will definitely scam you, or charge more than the normal market rates. So you understand what it takes, what effort it takes to do his job, and then you can hire someone, some intern or some person who can do it, the thing for the same thing at a lower cost, so that you, with your pays and everything, goes on with the function of what you're doing. So for the next 3 months, you have to be your audience and you have to be your biggest customer of what content you're making on, so that you understand what is wrong, what I can improve on, improve the content, come at a level where now this is constant. Now I'm not growing from 100 subscribers. Just imagine the number, 100 subscribers is easily done. You can easily go to that number, but I'm just taking an example. You come to a level where now I think this is constant. Now I cannot grow from here. Now this is the place where you can hire someone to push your growth. before reaching to that level, I would highly recommend not to hire anyone, not to invest a single dime or a penny on it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was very helpful.
Sure. Thank you. Anything else anyone wants to ask?
Abraham, you have raised your hand. I think that's from before, I think. Awesome. Real awesome, practical, something that people can apply immediately. Great inputs.
Thank you, Aniket. Thanks for your time and your efforts. Right? Hey, guys, Aniket also continues to share a lot of value bombs from his Facebook link. Please stay in touch with him. And now I have been interacting with you for about a month's time, and I see him someone who is truly being out there to help people and let them become YouTube digital marketers. And if you are seriously considering, I would also recommend you guys to look at taking up his services, right? That's the way you can start.
So I would say, JP, I would cut you in between. Instead of saying for services, let's say you can come out to me, reach out to me, see where you can reach out to what level you can from your own. As I said, Nora, for next 3 months, you have to focus on just on yourself, not on picking up some marketer who can help you to grow. Reach to a level where you can reach to yourself with all your means and everything. Then if you feel the need, then you can take the decision. So sorry to cut you, JP, but I feel the helping part, like the motive of Toastmasters also first is helping. So I think helping part needs to be, even my father has been teaching me this thing, the helping part needs to be there. And Mithilesh Mishra, the person that just joined on Zoom, is my father. So
thank you, sir, for being here. I'm sure it's a proud moment, and that's like a true marketer, right? True marketer goes out and gives value first, right, and everything else falls in place.
And that's the reason I mentioned I don't keep presentation slides or anything, because that's a frame for me on speaking on something which I want to, but it's not there on the slide, and then I might stop myself. So I just keep it very raw and real.
If you have your website address, or if you have your
no, I'm still building my website.
Hey, Alifia, I have shared his Facebook link. Okay.
Facebook link I got, but YouTube channel.
I've just started my YouTube channel too. I was doing joking and everything on, like last year I was joking and doing game streaming on the channel. I started putting up some YouTube content, I think a week or 2 weeks ago. So it is not still grown, but you can go on. I do a live stream every week. You can go on Hop It and be in questionnaire or something like that.
Yeah.
You can search for
that one.
We will just add you in all these platforms if people feel like they want to. Yeah.
I could not hear you, Nora.
I said, can you please share your whatever, like Facebook or YouTube or whatever.
Okay, sure. I'll
just like add you and stuff like that. Also, like I'm gonna be sharing mine, and it'd be cool just for everyone to have everything if they would like. Yeah.
Got it.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. I really have to go now, but take care, guys. Good night.
Aniket, if you have any packages or something, I would love to know. We're very lazy people. We get things out.
Sure, I'll talk to JP about it. I have a schedule. I have to schedule a call with JP also. So we'll talk about that with JP and see if things work.
I'll message you on Facebook. Okay. So.
Sure. I think Lakshmi ma'am is saying something. She's mute.
No, she's saying a bye.
I said thank you very much. It has been a very useful session. How do I get you on Facebook, Aniket?
Ma'am, if you can search Aniket Mishra, I think I would be ranking top because I'm consistent.
There were quite a few. That's why I'm asking.
Okay, you see a caricature. You'll see a caricature. Okay. Just JP, if you can just share the screen, JP.
Yeah. Hey, Lakshmi, go to all our guest group or WhatsApp group. Everywhere I have broadcasted Aniket's Facebook link. Okay. So I'm sending it again. I'm sharing the link.
If you can just scroll up and they will see the profile picture in the cover photo. Yeah, this is this caricature.
Okay.
It's A Mishra 012 if you go after Facebook. And Aniket Mishra live is on the other platforms, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm sharing it here again. Okay, just in case.
Okay. Thank you, Aniket.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi.
Brilliant. There's it's never ending. It just never ends.
Yeah.
Like the more you go deeper, There's more and more to do.
I thought I would have gone much more, but then I thought, the audience is not in that level where I can talk about some, complex stuff and they get it into their head. So I just kept it very simple.
If you want to become the club mentor, it would be lovely for us because, we're always struggling with a lot of things. And as and when we have different levels of members, and JP is taking these awesome initiatives to create workshops where people can hands-on come and open their own channel and everything. And then, some mentor guides us in terms of, and we can organize these like per level. So if you're at the beginning level, then you don't need to have the middle people coming on that same time. So even if you plan a 4-hour or something, we will have 1 hour for the beginning level, and then see from 10 to forward comes the next level, and then the last hour is the highest level or general, whoever's backlog or whatever.
Sure. We'll connect with JP and we'll talk about this, and maybe we can take forward.
People could bring their own content and take your expert, and you can just give comments. Maybe change this, change that, change this, So
I would love to do it. I would love to do it. Would love to do it. Sure.
So, yeah, let's have you on as a club mentor, as wherever content and this could be.
Sure, we'll love to do it. We'll talk to JP about it, and we'll I'll coordinate with whatever the timings and everything, and then probably I would love to come more often and try to get more inputs.
You come for every meeting. You can just join as a guest. You can join as unlimited number of meetings. And, and the panel evaluation also that we do is great to have some feedback and inputs from someone who's already in the journey, and someone, most of the people are never into the journey. So if someone's into the journey, then it's great to have you guys joining us as even, so the panel evaluations are very valuable for our members or whoever's creating that content.
Sure, I do, because I've been a social media manager myself. So I pretty much know about all the platforms, how it works and everything. So I can gain inputs on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, almost all platforms. But I got specialized in YouTube because this is an untapped market, still untapped. People aren't going on YouTube and making things work for them. So yeah, I'll sure talk to JP and coordinate with him, and then see what works for us both. And then probably I'll be coming up. I'll be coming more often. I'll see you more often here. And I'll try to give as much value I can to people.
That'd be nice. Thanks, JP, for organizing this gorgeous.
Hey, thank you. Pleasure mine.
Brilliant. We love the hard work that XCOM selflessly does, and that's the value system of Toastmasters. It surprises me the more we go deeper, we see people are just selflessly working on this platform to add value to everybody. It's amazing.
Sure.
Thank you, guys.
I'll take your leave. Yeah.
Thank you, Uncle, for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you also with us, along with Aniket. I think Mr. Mithilesh Mishra is Aniket's father.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Welcome, sir. So are you also on YouTube already?
We look forward to seeing you.
Okay, dear. Thank you, everyone.
Sure.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks again, Aniket. We'll catch up.
Thank you so much, JP. Thank you so much, Alfia, and thank you so much, all the members there. And looking forward to see more often to your faces and show my face on the appearance, and looking forward to it. Thank you so much. We'll see you. Catch you soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Meeta and Mahar. We hope you found value in whatever you were hoping to get, and get started your journey.
Yeah, I did. I did. I really liked it. This is all very new to me.
Start with your icebreaker. I told you last time. So just create your icebreaker. Come show it to us. To present it on our platform.
I was wondering, when I was hearing Nora, I have always liked my voice, but after hearing Nora, I was wondering, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I don't even stand 0. So
it's a long way. The first step is only what helps. When you get started, that's when you get started. There's nothing you will keep learning from listening in every meeting, also if you attend. Until you start your first one, everything starts relevant.
Can I hear this entire meeting again, or do you post recordings of the meeting on the group?
It was live on YouTube. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you can hear all the past meetings. Everything is on it.
Okay. Okay. All right.
We
All
do
right.
live. It's always
Okay.
on YouTube. The secretary's role is literally zilch.
All right. All right. I'll do that.
We reduce everyone's role. So everyone's 1 year role, we finish in 3 months. So
Oh,
from
good.
January, we will all retire.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Alicia. Loved it. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, Mahar. See you. Bye.